Hi everyone, it's Jeannie from Makers Unify, and today I'm going to show you a few different projects using clay. For my first clay project, I'm going to make essential oil diffusers using the air dry clay. This is the IOD Monarch mold, and first I go ahead and put in some cornstarch so that the clay doesn't stick. And the clay that I use is called Sculpey air dry clay. IOD also has their own air dry clay, which I have not tried yet. I heard it's pretty good. It's nice and soft when it goes in. So here I go ahead and put it in the mold, and I scrape it with this handy dandy tool that I got at the Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to poke a hole in the top so that when it dries, it's all set. For this next diffuser, I'm going to use the IOD Knob Toppers stamp. So I go ahead and I stamp it down in here and go ahead and press it with the rolling pin to give it a little bit more definition when using the stamps. So I'm going to go ahead and use this handy clay cutting tool, I guess you could call it, that I picked up at a garage sale. I picked up a couple, like 3 packs, which was a really good bargain. And I'm going to set that aside to dry. And then once they're dry, I'm going to go ahead and sand down the rough edges to make it all nice and smooth. On some of these, I had to make sure that the hole was big enough. So make sure that you make the hole big enough when the clay is wet, because it makes it a lot easier. And then I'm going to go ahead and slide this twine through. The twine does have like a waxy coating on it, so it does make it a lot easier to go through. And this is the first one that I did, and as you can see, I kind of changed up how I am putting the twine on for the other ones. I think it looks a lot better, and it was actually a lot easier to do. So when the clay is all dry, you can go ahead and take your favorite essential oil and put a couple drops on there, and it's good to go. You can hang it in your car or in a room, wherever you want to do it. Hang it. And then here is another one that I did with just the stamp. And when this is all dry, I put the essential oil on the back side, not on the stamp side. So as you can see, I ended up making quite a few of these, and I really like how they turned out, and they'll be a lot of fun to hang. Like I said, you can hang them in your car or in different rooms of your house, or you can even put them in like a gym bag or something like that to help elevate, or not, you don't want to elevate the smells, eliminate the smells. For this next project, clay project, I'm going to make a couple small trinket bowls. So I have this mold that I use when I'm soaping, and I'm going to go ahead and roll out the air dry clay and go ahead and place it over the mold and firmly press it down so that I can get the impression from the mold itself. And what I did earlier was underneath I stuffed in some plastic bags just to make this a little more firm, so that when I am pressing the clay down, it has some resistance to it so that I could get a good impression. So I'm going to go ahead and use this round cookie cutter to help me trim around the edges of this first little trinket box, and then I'll clean it up with this handy dandy little tool. And then I'm going to go ahead and press another one. So after letting them set aside a day to dry, I'm going to go ahead and sand them a little bit, and then use my Waverly antiquing wax. And because I'm impatient, you know me, I'm gonna dry it with the hair dryer, and then I do the inside also, and then I paint it in, brush it in, and then go ahead and wipe off the excess. So I wanted to go ahead and embellish this a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and glue some lace around this first one. And then I have some twine around another one. And you can do a lot of things with this to decorate. You can decorate the inside. You can paint the inside different colors if you're so talented to paint the flowers to look like different flowers. And I think these turned out really cute. So here are a couple of the little trinket bowls. You can keep those on your desk or in your bathroom to put your jewelry in or miscellaneous things that you want to keep track of. For this next project, I'm going to make a clay hanger, and it's going to be kind of, I guess, maybe like a boho-ish kind of looking hanger. I'm using white clay, and then I also accidentally bought some terracotta clay, which worked out fine for this project. It's going to have like a little rainbow effect or rainbow at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and roll that and squeeze this together so that it'll hopefully dry, but it actually kind of fell apart after it did dry. So I used some tight bond to go ahead and glue the rainbow back together. So I'm going to go ahead and set that aside to dry. As you can see, I'm working on a couple of different projects at once. This is another little mobile hanger decoration that I put together. So here I'm going to go ahead and string some string through and put some beads on it for embellishment. I'm going to hot glue those so that they don't move. And I'm going to put some tassels on the bottom of it, and this turned out pretty cute. Of course, I say they all turn out pretty cute, but I do like this one. So a little trick that I use when I'm making tassels is, you saw me wrap it around my fingers a few times, and then I'm going to put it on a skewer or a little rod to hold it tight while I tie the top off, so that way it all stays together. And then I'm going to go ahead and kind of sew the tassels on to the ends here, and then I trim off the ends of the tassels to make them all look uniform. I'm going to go ahead and put a little dot of hot glue on the back of this so that it stays in and doesn't poke through or pull through the hole. So I'm going to go ahead and loop another string through the top for it to hang from, and hot glue that on the back, trim it up a little bit to make it look good on the back, and that one's all set to be hung up. And for my final clay project, I am using the IOD Wings and Feathers mold to make angel wings, and I'm going to go ahead and make a little mobile with this one. The trick with this one is to make sure that I space everything out evenly so that when it does hang up, that it's somewhat balanced looking. So while the clay is wet, I go ahead and put the tight bond glue on it, making sure to spread it out evenly into the edges. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that onto the top part that I made, the circle part on top. So after I let it dry overnight, I'm going to go ahead and put some blue paint over it and some white and try and bring out some of the details in the mold. I'm going to go ahead and take some white paint and go over the blue to lighten it up a little bit more, make it look more soft, I guess you could say. You think of angels, you think of clouds and softness. So these are a lot of fun. You can decorate any way you want. Again, like I said, you can use different colors. If you wanted to, put 2 or 3 different colors on here and really highlight the details of the IOD mold. Unfortunately, I'm not that artistically talented, but I would like to see someone try this and go ahead and share it on our Makers Unify Facebook group, where we share different projects that we do. I'd love to see what you're working on, and it would also help inspire other makers and in their projects, and I'd love to see what you're up to. I'm going to go ahead and continue with the same blue and white whitewash over the feathers and set these aside to dry. I'm going to go ahead and use embroidery thread to thread all the pieces together for this wall hanging or mobile. I did not paint the back, which you could if it was going to be spinning around, or you would see the back. This I kind of planned on having it just hang flat on the wall, so I did not paint the back. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the process of me painstakingly stringing this all together. Wanted to make sure that everything was even and secured on the back with the knots and the hot glue to make sure that it wouldn't fall apart. So here are the final 3 clay projects. These are the wall hangings, and I really like how they turned out. Let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. And thanks for following. Make sure to subscribe and like this video and give me a comment of what project was your favorite one. And like I said, go ahead and go to our Makers Unify Facebook group and show me what projects you're working on so that we can inspire other makers in their creations and to share. Thanks for watching and have a DIY day.